Okay, in our last class we talked about the law of sines, and we could use that for two different cases. When we had side angle side, not side angle side, side angle, or angle side. Today what we're going to be talking about is the law of cosines. This is used when we've got an oblique triangle. So law of cosines. And we use oblique triangles with the following situations. If you know two sides and the included angle. So in other words, side, angle, side. In this scenario, you have to use the law of cosines to solve. Or if you have three sides of a triangle. So side, side, side. In both these scenarios, you have to use the law of cosines to get started. And the law of cosines, again, it's a triangle where we've defined our sides opposite the angles. And it says to find any side that c squared is equal to a squared plus b squared minus 2 times a times b times the cosine of c. So if we put this into words, the square of one side of a triangle, equals the sum of the squares of the other two sides, minus their product times the sum of the squares of the other two triangles minus their product times 2 times the cosine of the included angle. So this sounds wordy, but any single side of a triangle squared is equal to the sum of the other two sides squared minus 2 times the other two sides multiplied together times the cosine of the angle that was included between these two sides. So angle C is located between sides A and B. So this is much easier once we try it. So let's go ahead and draw a picture. First thing we always want to do is draw a picture. And notice we're giving side, and an angle. So let's see where they fall. So we've got A, B, and C. Angle A I don't know, but side A I know is 2. Angle B I don't know, but I know side B is 3, so that's across from angle B. And I know side C is 60 degrees. So again, I've got side, angle, side. So I can use law of cosines, or I have to use law of cosines at this point. And to solve for this, I have to be solving for the side. I have to have these two and the included, and I'm going to look for side C in this case. So c squared equals a squared, so 3 squared plus, 2 squared plus b squared, which is 3 squared, minus 2 times a times b times the cosine of the angle between these two, so 60 degrees. If we plug this in the calculator, I get c squared equals, put this all in here, we've got 2 squared plus 3 squared minus 2 times a times b times the cosine of 60 degrees. Okay, and we're going to hit enter, and we get back 7. So c squared equals 7. So c must equal the square root of 7, because we had to take the square root of both sides to solve for c. Okay, that looks good. So now I know all my sides. I still don't know angles A and B. So to solve for these, I'm going to use the law of cosines again. And this time, I'm going to try and solve for angle A. So angle A is what I'm going to try to find. So that means I'm going to have an A right here. So let's write out what we're going to do. Since I'm going to be trying to find angle A, I need to have an A squared over here and the C squared here. So you can rearrange these as long as the same two sides are here and this side and this angle that corresponds with it are in these two locations. So if I'm trying to find angle C or angle A, I'm going to have an A squared here. So this is going to be A squared equals B squared plus C squared minus 2B times C cosine of angle A. And now let's plug in what we know. And again, we know all three sides, but we do not know cosine of A. So A squared, that's 2 squared, equals side B, so 3 squared plus square root of 7 squared minus 2 times 3 times the square root of 7 times cosine of A. Okay, so I've got 4. I need to subtract the 9 to get it over here, so minus 9. I need to subtract 7 from both sides, equals negative 2 times 3 times the square root of 7 times the cosine of A. Okay, so let's see what we've got right here. So 4 minus 9 minus 7, that's equal to a negative 12. And let's multiply these together. Negative 2 times 3 is negative 6 times the square root of 7. So negative 6 square root of 7 times the cosine of A. If I need to find A, or cosine of A, I need to divide both sides by a negative 6 square root of 7. Negative 6 square root of 7. Notice I'm not putting anything in the calculator yet. We're going to wait until we've solved the problem, or till we have A by itself before we enter anything. So now I have the cosine of A is equal to negative 12 divided by negative 6 square root of 7. To undo cosine, to get A by itself, I have to take cosine inverse. So I'm going to take cosine inverse of the cosine of A. Cosines will cancel there. And on this side, I've got cosine inverse of negative 12 divided by negative 6 square root of 7. I'm now going to put this in the calculator. There we go. And I want second cosine, so that's my cosine inverse, and do alpha y equals enter to give myself the fraction symbol. Negative 12 divided by negative 6 square root of 7. And that's our whole thing. Hit enter, and I get that angle A is 40.89. And that's degrees, of course. And finally, I still need angle B. Well, angle B is going to be equal to 180 minus angle C, which was 60 degrees, minus angle A, which was 40.89. So angle B is equal to 79.11 degrees. And we have now solved that whole problem. We've got all three angles and all three sides. Let's go to the next video for another example.